Hi, it's your librarian, and in this video, I am going to show you how to find a full-length book source for your evaluation paper. In my example, I am evaluating the video game Portal based on the criteria of visual appeal, storyline, and the ability to collaborate with other gamers. I already showed you how to find a reference article source, and this time we're going to look for a book source. A book source is going to be an in-depth exploration of a topic. And if you are sitting there thinking, I don't have time to read an entire book before my paper is due, don't worry. You can use book sources, you can use chapters, individual chapters or parts of books. You don't necessarily have to read the entire book in preparation for your assignment. So I'm going to look for something related to storyline and video games, the video game Portal. So I've gone over to the library website and I'm going into the Find Books tab of the search screen. I can limit my search to physical books, like ones that you would check out from the library, or ebooks, which you access online. Or I can search for everything at once. I can search for a specific title of a book if I know one, or a specific author. I can search in different ways. I'm going to do a keyword search, and I'm going to try different search terms to see what I get. But I want to look for things on storytelling and video games. And remember, I put video game between quotation marks so that I find those two words together in that order. I'm telling the search system, find me a book that has the keyword storytelling and video game in it. I might find some reference books because reference materials come from books, but what I'm really looking for this time is a full-length book. So this first one, I got 101 results, and the first one is a physical book that is on the shelf at the GCC library. So I could click on this and put a hold on it. I could go into the library and look at it. But for right now, I'm going to look for an ebook in my results. And this one looks really handy, Understanding Video Games, The Essential Introduction. This is an ebook, meaning I can access it online. Right over here is the permanent link to the book. I am going to copy this link and I am going to drop it into my table for book sources that I found. You always want to grab the link to your article or your search result, I should say. When I click on the title, I access the book, and if I'm off campus, I will enter my MEID and password. So here is what the book looks like, and I can read it online. I can look at a description of the book. And really handy, there is a table of contents. When I look at the table of contents, I see that this chapter 5 on aesthetics is going to be really useful to me, and this chapter 7 on narrative will be useful. So I was looking for storytelling initially, and narrative is another way of referring to storytelling. So when I clicked on chapter 7, it took me directly to that chapter. So I'm going to read this chapter and I'm going to look at very specific information about storytelling in video games. It's possible that this will talk about Portal. I think I've done this search before and I think it actually does. Going back to the table of contents, I was only looking for storytelling when I started my search, but I realized that video game aesthetics is a word that is related to visual appeal, and it's not something I had thought of when I was brainstorming related terms. Not sure I'm going to spell this right, but aesthetics is a word that I can use to search. So I might want to read this chapter, or at least skim this chapter to see what useful material I might find in it. So here is a book. A book is an in-depth exploration of a topic. I'm probably going to find several pieces of information from this book that I can quote and use as support in my paper. Even though it is not a book specifically about the video game portal, it's giving me general information about video games that I might want to use. I could look at more of my search results. And remember, you have online books, ebooks, and you have physical books at the library. And either one might be very useful for you. Returning to the library search screen, I can change my search terms up here. I can try, maybe I want to try multiplayer and video game and see if I get different results. You will get different results depending on the search terms that you use. So here is a book called Multiplayer: The Social Aspects of Digital Gaming. I've been looking for video game, but digital game or digital gaming might be another search term I want to use. There are ebooks and there are physical books. So I have quite a lot that I could look for in book sources. We might as well look for magazines while we're here too. You can search in a couple of different ways. You can go back to the main search box on the library page and you can search under Find Articles for magazine articles. Or, since it's listed right here, you can click on Magazine Article. Now there's a check mark. I'm going to uncheck the box by ebook. I'm going to uncheck the box by music score. And so now I'm looking only at the results for magazine articles. Magazines come out usually on a monthly basis, and they are written for a popular audience. They're earlier in the information cycle, so they tend to be timely information about something that happened in the world or that was created in the world. So I could scroll through these and see what I get. And I can change my search terms to be even more useful for me and more specific to Portal. Here's an example of how I might make a magazine search more specific to the video game Portal. If you play the game Portal, you know that there's a character in the game called GLaDOS. And that's spelled like this. GLaDOS is going to be a really specific term. And when I search, I'm not going to get that many results. Actually, I got more than I thought. I got 194 results. Oh, I see what it's doing. It's trying to find me something that's close to the word GLaDOS. So actually, I think I will add the term video game. So it's looking for GLaDOS and video game. And this is more what I wanted. This is not, or these are 9 results that are that specifically have the word GLaDOS in it. And I've done this search before, so I know that each one of these articles actually refers to the video game Portal. This one was published in Electronic Gaming Monthly in December of 2008. The video game Portal came out, I think, in late 2007. So this magazine article came out around the time that GLaDOS was released. And if I click on it, or when Portal was released, I should say, and it brings me to the article. And it's not a very long article, but it is speaking specifically about Portal. And it talks about how it was last year's surprise hit, Portal. So you can see again, it came out close to the time that the video game was released. So there might be some information that I want to use here. And this article happens to talk a little bit about how that video game storyline was designed. So even though I didn't put the word storyline or plot or narrative into this particular search, I was able to find an article from a very specific publication that is focused on video games or gaming. And it is going to help me make my case in my paper. I'm going to, before I leave this screen, I'm going to grab the link. Oh, and I should tell you, when you're getting a link from a library database, you do not want to copy and paste the link at the top, because that does not work once you leave the database. You have to get the link or the permalink. So I'm going to copy and paste this link, and I am going to drop it into my list of magazine sources. So now, over the course of these videos, I found a reference source, a magazine source, and a book source. You can use a lot of material from the library databases. There's so much that the library databases can do for you. And if you need help, I am always happy to help you on your specific research question. If you want to get a hold of me, you just go into About the Library and you look for library faculty and staff. And my name is Karen Reed. And there is all of my information that you need to get in touch with me. In our final video, I am going to show you how to access the worksheet that I've designed for you so that you can find some reference, magazine, and book materials in the library databases.